I'm Jennie Gage, and this is Life Take Two. Yesterday, 8 congressional cowards traded our healthcare for their personal comfort and convenience. And I was so furious that I had trouble sleeping last night. Welcome to Life Take Two. I'm Jennie Gage. I know there's a lot of great stuff out there on YouTube, and I always appreciate when you stop on one of my videos. I wrote to my senator a week into the shutdown, and I told him to keep it shut down. In fact, I sent my senator several emails. I also called his office multiple times to leave voicemails. He responded in this email to me last week that he would enforce the shutdown, that he was not open to negotiating the health care of his constituents, and he did back that shutdown. So thank you, Ruben Gallego, for not being a coward. An unrelated article in The Atlantic caught my eye yesterday. It said, "The war on poverty is over. The rich people won." That line struck me because America has utterly lost the plot, and these 8 cowards just proved it. In America, as you know, we're not supposed to have kings. We're not even supposed to have leaders. We're supposed to have public servants, people who work for us, who represent their constituents. But the people that are in power right now don't know what it means to be us at all. They have no idea what it's like to be me. When I was a kid, my mom sometimes dragged me to Kmart. Remember Kmart? Which absolutely horrified me. Being a poor kid was deeply embarrassing, and in my elementary school, people would sometimes talk about, "Oh, we saw Renee at Kmart this weekend." So I remember looking over my shoulder in the parking lot, hoping that none of the boys from my second grade class were looking out the Dunkin' Donuts window that was also in that parking lot, Gresham, Oregon. Dunkin' Donuts right in the Kmart parking lot. And I was so afraid that one of them would be sitting there with their dads and they'd see me walk from our beat up, falling down piece of crap car into that Kmart on a rainy Oregon Saturday morning. My hands always shook in the cafeteria lunch line when I was a little girl because this is before computers, and the free lunch kids like me, we had little pink punch cards while everyone else had blue. I'd hide that pink card in my palm, praying the kid behind me wouldn't see it as the lunch lady punched the little hole with her hole puncher. One winter in second grade, my teacher, Mrs. Fowdy, told the poor kids to line up for the charity Christmas party at another school. That's exactly what she said. She said, "I need the poor kids to line up for the Christmas party at Lynch Terrace. The bus is here." Then she read the list of names. I was 7 or 8, horrified, but also grateful. I can still close my eyes and see that gymnasium at the other school. It had a tree that was stuffed with gifts. I can still feel that sense of hesitating happiness that I had in my chest, as I tried to decide if I was happy to have presents and a stocking full of candy and nuts, or if I was just ashamed to be poor. It was both. Poverty was my identity. It was an emotion like grief, happiness, boredom, our emotions. It was literally wired into my nervous system. Like I had neural pathways around the emotions of poverty. It was the feeling of big toes poking through socks and shoes too tight for my feet, of tightness in my throat when I saw the panic on my dad's handsome face when his old Datsun pickup froze on the way to church because he'd run out of gas. There was always a gas can in the back of my dad's truck because he was always pushing that tank, I wouldn't know what it meant to have a consistently full belly until I was grown and out of the house. My Mormon young woman president, Sister Standing was her name, once called me a slut. That was her word in front of everyone at church on a Sunday because my skirt was too short. She didn't know that I'd outgrown every piece of clothing that I owned in like this high school growth spurt that hit me all of a sudden. My mom knew that skirt was too short for Mormon church when I got in the car that morning. I knew that skirt was too short for church, but it was the only skirt that I had. My mom stayed up late sewing a ruffle on the bottom so I could wear it again the next Sunday. And that sound, the sound of the sewing machine stitching a mismatched ruffle onto a too short skirt, is the sound of America's working class surviving. Those 8 cowards in the Democratic Party who just sold our health care have no idea what that sounds like. A sewing machine clinking away in the night, stitching mismatched fabric onto the bottom of a skirt. Yesterday, 8 senators who have never heard the hum of that late night sewing machine, who have never held a pink free lunch punch card in their trembling fingers, voted against America's working class. They ignored the No Kings marches last month, overlooked last week's election, I think deleted all the emails from Americans pleading for solidarity, pleading for help, and they ended the resistance we prayed would save our insurance, Obamacare. It's funny how true those 2 words are when strung together, Obamacare. Obama cared. Here's who didn't. Here's the 8. John Fetterman, with an estimated net worth of only $1.6 million. Catherine Cortez Masto, her 2018 disclosure range was between 2.35 and 6.85 million. Jackie Rosen has an estimated net worth between $15 and $17 million. Tim Kaine is the poor guy in the bunch. His estimated net worth is under $1 million. Maggie Hassan between 2.2 and 5.8 million. Jean Shaheen, an estimated net worth of $7 million. Dick Durbin, 1.94, and Angus King with a confirmed published net worth of $9.49 million. I'll link a couple articles about some of these senators' fancy lifestyles in the description. Gavin Newsom called them pathetic, just that one word. That's all he said. Here's the real fight. We keep saying no kings, right? There's this whole big no kings movement. But monarchy, democracy, theocracy, it doesn't matter much when everyone at the top looks the same. It's not about who's sitting on the throne or in the Oval Office. It's about who's left kneeling in the dirt. And currently, that's all of us, all but the 1%. I care a lot more about no serfs because that's what we've become. The feudalistic serfs, slaves to the land, toiling every day for our room board and some stale ale, like we're living in the dark ages. As y'all know, I left MAGA and Christian nationalism, white supremacy, the alt-right, my Mormon trad wife life. I left all of that behind. And sometimes I genuinely wish I could go back to that low-grade sociopathy, which let me sleep at night, back to believing Jesus would save the homeless man so I didn't have to. Back to the security I felt in Donald Trump's steady hands. What a crock, but it felt super safe. But once you wake up like I have, it's impossible to fall back asleep. You know, I'm a baby Democrat and an atheist, a feminist. And I know the names of all the homeless people on my block, and they know me. Oh, you're Jennie, they'll say whenever I run into a newcomer because they all talk about me. I worry about them now. I lay in bed at night knowing and being bonded to my unhoused kiddos and having this concern for them that is no different than the concern I have for the bio kids that I brought into this world. I worry about us all, about the world that we're leaving for all of our kids. I was so excited to become a Democrat. I felt like, oh, now I'm on the right side of history. Now I'm with the good people. Then I watched the debates. I started paying attention and I started to freak out. I went to a town hall, which I posted a video about. I'll link it in the description here, just to shake Cory Booker's hand. Gabby Giffords and Mark Kelly were there, and the people who were gathered at this town hall were absolutely amazing. And then I went home and read up about Cory Booker and got disillusioned because I realized they're all the same. Rich, detached, privileged men who have no idea what the people need because they haven't ever really been normal. Fuck the patriarchy. I wish I had something really cool and profound to say here, but the only thing that comes to my mind is fuck the whole damn patriarchy. Fuck the whole damn rich boys club and the women that made it in there too. They've never taken a bus to a poor kid's Christmas party and shivered all the way because their dad couldn't buy coats for 5 kids. They've never gone to the bathroom by flashlight at night because the power was turned off and dad didn't get his paycheck until Tuesday. And they've never not called the doctor because they couldn't afford to. I get a lot of people in my comments blaming me for what's wrong right now because I used to be MAGA and I talk about that a lot. So I get a lot of those comments. But honey, I don't have that kind of power. I never did. I was just one little sheep following the herd. You know what I mean? You know who does have that type of power? These 8 cowards and the rest of the whole goddamn Democratic Party. They are to blame for everything Trump is doing. The bulldozed White House, moms in Utah not getting their WIC, the Department of Education being gutted, the national parks being shut down. I get these texts on my phone daily from the DNC complaining about Trump. Jennie, you won't believe what's going on. Please donate $20. But this isn't on Trump. This is on them. They are all the same and they all worship the same God. Power, class. MAGA and Democrats are just different hats for the same men at the same country clubs. They're all toasting their aged scotch together this afternoon while we're out here working to make money to support our kids. This isn't Trump's fault alone. The Democrats caused MAGA. They gave Trump the win. The Democratic Party knew how old Biden was basic math. 70 something plus a year and a half from now when he'd actually be sworn in. Here's how old he's going to be. They didn't care. The country club prime rib dinners with that little side of au jus and the horseradish sauce that goes with it, they were so good with the scotch. They weren't thinking about us. I say we vote them all out. Here's what I want. I want more Mom Donnies. And his wife, Rama, oh my God. More Chris Volpes, more Adelita Grijalvas, more Bernie Sanders. As long as we keep electing rich men and clinging to trickle-down economics, we'll keep spending our lives trying to catch drips from their same goddamn golden faucet. It hasn't worked, and it isn't meant to work. We are meant to be serfs, catching drips. Like a little kid in front of the garden hose with their tongue out. And I'm fucking sick of working so hard and watching my parents work so hard and watching my grandparents work so hard for the trickle down. We've lost the entire plot of America, of liberty, of justice, of homesteads and family shops, of the pursuit of happiness. The old world that they all fought so hard to get away from and build something different to replace, it followed us over here. The Astors, the Carnegies, the Trumps. And I personally think it's time to throw their tea back into the harbor with every drop of their greed and hypocrisy. Here's a little secret that I think we're finally waking up to. This swamp won't drain itself. Not Donald, not Mike Johnson, and not the 8 cowards who betrayed us. You know who's going to save us? Us. It's on us. The days of political apathy are over. There was a time when we could just kind of coast and America was okay. Today is not that day. It's time to fight back. We fight with our wallets. We fight with our words. Here's where we can start right away. Boycott Black Friday. Don't buy anything from a corporation. You don't need that laptop more than your kids need a future. Roll your Christmas budget into Small Business Saturday. Shop local. Call or email your senators. I spend about an hour every week calling and emailing my senators, other senators, governors, the White House, etc. Get your political science or law degree, then run for office and support someone real, someone good. I'm volunteering as a social media consultant for Chris Volpe in Ohio, who is running to fill J.D. Vance's vacated seat. I spend around 5 hours a week working with him just because I believe in him. I get nothing out of it except for the chance to replace J.D. Vance's seat with a young, wise politician who I would love to have in the Senate representing America's working class. The truth is, the party that I want, the party that I think we all want, does not exist yet. So we have to build it. which shouldn't be a problem since we are the ones who build everything. We're really good at that. We know how to work. This is just, we got to work. We keep waiting for an American Reformation, but we are going to have to make it happen. The revolution won't come from the top. It'll come from the tired hands at the bottom, seamstresses, janders, teachers, moms, shop owners, bank tellers, social media, YouTube creators like me, authors, and dreamers who finally realize their power. We don't need kings. We don't need saviors. What we need is some good public servants to help us provide the lives of our dreams. Get those into place, and we will never be serfs again. I'll be hanging out in the comments for a while to hear what you guys think about the government being reopened and this vote, which puts healthcare in peril for so many millions of Americans. I do want to say thank you to, I have been sick for a week and a half, a full week and a half, and everyone's been so great and so full of remedies. I have been drinking lots of, as hot as I can tolerate it, honey-infused water and resting my voice as much as I can. And because I've been sick, my book club Zoom had to be delayed. We thought that I had pneumonia. I don't, but I will be announcing that in a separate video this week, and we are going to combine November and December book club into one book, which I'll be announcing this week. So I apologize for everyone that has been asking about the book club. This illness knocked my whole entire family off our feet, and I think I'm almost back in action. So thanks, everybody. Be kind, and I will see you in the comments.